Hello everybody, today we're in Saratoga Springs, New York. For those of you who don't know, Saratoga Springs is a beautiful town located 188 miles north of New York City. Saratoga Springs was established as a settlement in 1819 from the western portion of the town of Saratoga. Its principal community was incorporated as a village in 1826, and the entire region became a city in 1915. In 1832, the arrival of the railroad made Saratoga Springs a very popular destination for tourism. There are a lot of interesting things here, but this town is well known for its horse racing heritage and mineral springs. Saratoga's horse racing track is one of the oldest ones in the world. It actually dates back to President Lincoln's times. Every year, over 1 million people come to Saratoga to enjoy venues at the horse racing track. Saratoga Springs is also home to a National Museum of Racing and the Hall of Fame. And here are the statues of horse jockeys in the front lawn of the museum and Hall of Fame. Saratoga Springs was also featured in the 2003 movie Seabiscuit, which is based on a true story. Here's some original footage from 1938 of a real Seabiscuit. This horse has a very interesting history. Nobody expected him to win, but he did. Being an underdog, he attracted a lot of fans that otherwise wouldn't be interested in horse racing. And he was even voted the Horse of the Year at some point. He retired in 1940 as the most popular horse in the world. We're on Saratoga's Main Street, which is called Broadway, and we're gonna head over to a Congress Park. The early park was formed in 1820. This park is open year-round and includes Canfield Casino and the Carousel. There are also a few mineral water springs around the park area. Here's Congress Spring, which was discovered by Nicholas Gilman, a member of Congress, in 1792. Dr. John Clark purchased the spring in 1826 and bottled the water to send it all around the world. And here's Columbian Spring, which was discovered in 1803, and currently the water in the spring is drinkable and flows from Longonberry Lake, which is used for city supply water. This is Hatherin Spring, discovered in 1866. It has highly carbonated water. And here is the Hayes Spring, located in Saratoga Spa State Park. And here's one of the most famous carbonated springs here, called Island Spouter. To me, it looks like a whale. And here's the Orinda Springs, which I've heard has a pretty tasty water. And this is Carista Spring, which is one of the most iron-rich springs in the world. And we're back on the main street of Saratoga Springs. Just like every other town we have visited, Saratoga has its own character, its own different storefronts. Even though some things you might be similar to the other towns, but it does have its own character. And one thing that amazed me, that every single building that we've seen so far in this town is well preserved or well maintained, and a lot of them are historic. And there's definitely a lot to discover here, that's for sure. So we're only going to mention a couple of things in this video, but there's a lot more. So one of the things that Saratoga has always been famous for are the mineral spas, and there are quite a lot of them here. There are about 15 all around the area. And in 1940s, even President Roosevelt used to come here. And here are the buildings of Saratoga Spa State Park, where the mineral pools and baths are located. Like I had mentioned before, there are plenty of historic buildings here on Broadway, and one of them we'll see in the distance, this white building with the arches, is Adelphi Hotel. This historic hotel opened its doors in 1877 as a luxurious accommodations for people coming to the area. And since we're on the history topic, I have to mention the Canfield Casino. Professional boxer and the co-founder of Racetrack, John Marassi, have built Canfield Casino in 1800s. He had 3 rules: no ladies allowed, cash only, and no locals. Today is January 1st, and there's actually quite a lot of people here. So we're going to walk down the street, and if we look to our right here, what's in front of us is the Saratoga Arts. So let's explore some museums and art exhibitions here. Tank Art Gallery Museum is a great place to visit if you enjoy art. You could also check out the National Museum of Dance. And for those who like cars, there's a Saratoga Automobile Museum. And there's plenty to discover at Saratoga History Museum. And if you enjoy live performances, Saratoga Performance Arts Center is a great place to see shows, ballet, and just live music. Walking down the main street of Broadway, you realize how unique this town is, with its shops, architecture, and of course there's so much history here. I only wish we had a little more time to spend here, because we're actually stopping by here on the way from Lake George. So we get to explore some things here, but not everything. There's so much more. So we definitely need to come back at some point. There's plenty of history here happened here. For example, the Revolutionary War battles of Saratoga took place around the area on September 19th and October 7th in 1777. Saratoga Springs has been historically known for its springs, and it's actually attracted visitors as early as 1771. But Native Americans in the area knew the therapeutic value of the springs well before that. During the 19th century, Saratoga Springs became one of the most fashionable spots in the country, with Victorian-style hotels. In 1909, 122 springs were acquired by the state after commercial exploitation diminished them. Pools and bathhouses, similar to those of European house spas, were built on the land acquired by the state. In 1935, those facilities became part of Saratoga Spa State Park. Saratoga Spa State Park includes 2,200 acres. Taking a stroll down the street, we see a bookstore right in front of us. I have to say I am happy and surprised to see a bookstore here, because by us you mostly see Barnes and Nobles. We don't have as many small bookstores anymore. So I'm going to go in there and see what they have. I'm kind of embarrassed to say we actually didn't walk out there with the books. We bought this maple syrup from Vermont there. I have not seen this particular brand anywhere outside of Vermont, so it's actually a good thing to have it here. This building right here in front of us, Rowan Building, looks like it was built in early 1900s, but it was actually built in 2000. I know this building looks like it was built in 2000s, at least to me it did, but it was actually built in 1893 for James Purdue. It was originally called Purdue Building, but then the name was changed to Algonquin. Name changed because study of Algonquin Indian Nation was a hobby of James Purdue. Originally built for mixed use, today it features luxury apartments, retail space, and office space. James Purdue was a real estate developer and merchant. Walking down the street more, I see this interesting Victorian-style building. I don't know when it was built, but looking at the architecture, I'm thinking around the same time like the other one did. And right across from us is the City Town Hall. It was built in 1871, and it cost around $109,000 to build back then. So it was a lot of money back then. I guess just like in Central Park, Manhattan, the police officers here on Broadway ride horses. Fun fact, the lines that we see in the entrance here were not there originally. They actually install them later. And just 3 miles southeast outside of town is the Saratoga Lake. There are plenty of activities you can enjoy here, ranging from kayaking to sailing, canoeing, and probably swimming as well. Saratoga Lake is also home to Grand Cottage State Historic Site. This site is the cottage where former President Ulysses S. Grant died. Saratoga Springs is one of the most amazing places to visit, and we definitely had a great time exploring it, and I wish we had more time to do so, but we have to head back home now. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time.